In 200 meters, turn right. Turn right. You have arrived at your destination.
Mtunzini is a charming village about 140 kilometers north of Durban. Its name, which means place in the shade, suggests a feeling of peace and tranquility. Mtunzini holds many attractions for the nature lover as well as for lovers of South African history. For this is the area where John Donne spent most of his life. Donne was a hunter and trader, and because of his knowledge of the Zulu language, he became an advisor to Ketishwayo, who eventually promoted him as the first white Zulu chief. True to tradition and much to the disgust of his wife, John Donne married 47 Zulu women and fathered 117 children. At this time, the Umlalazi River was full of crocodiles and sharks, so he had a pool dug in a safe place where his wives could enjoy their bath in peace. The nearby Umlalazi Nature Reserve is unique because it has 4 different habitats. First of all, there is the coastal forest, with its large variety of birds and animals. The red duiker is common here. Usually very shy, it has learned that here it is safe to come out in the open. The blue duiker is equally at home in the coastal forest, as well as in other places all over South Africa. The red squirrel is only found in the northern part of the coastal forest and in Mozambique. Typical birds of the coastal forests include the crested guinea fowl, the trumpeter hornbill, Jugeland's robin, the violet-backed starling, the golden-drummed tinker barbet, the purple-crested turacou, and my all-time favorite, the paradise flycatcher. Of course, it's always nice to listen to the duet of the black-collared barbets. The second habitat is the open area between the coastal forest and the Indian Ocean. Bee-eaters like this white-fronted bee-eater are common here. Here we have the little bee-eater. And all the way from Europe, the European bee-eater. Another visitor from Europe is this European roller. The bronze-winged courser is nocturnal and is seldom seen in broad daylight. The white-necked raven, like all members of the crow family, is a highly intelligent bird. A short walk takes us to the coastline, the third completely different habitat. Ghost crabs patrol the beach in search of anything to eat. Two white-fronted sand plovers play a running game with the waves. Higher up on the beach, safe from the incoming tide, they have their nest well hidden in the sand. Pansy shells are extremely rare this far north. They are more common along the garden route. Black oyster catchers are also seldom seen here. They normally occur much further south as well. The fourth habitat is situated where the Umlalazi River flows into the sea. Here a beautiful mangrove forest is home to a number of very interesting animals with amazing adaptations. The mangrove tree itself is a perfect example of this. The soil here has a tremendously high salt content with hardly any oxygen, so the trees push their roots up out of the soil so they can breathe. Mangrove trees also have special adaptations to limit the amount of water they lose and the amount of salt they take in. These mangrove snails have the ability to climb up trees out of reach of predators and the incoming tide. During low tide, they come down to feed in the mud. A lonely little egret is hunting in the shallow water. Mangrove crabs spend their time collecting dead mangrove leaves and taking them into their holes. They don't actually eat the leaves, but the tiny microbes that live on them. This one is battling to pull his leaf into his home, and a neighbor has taken an interest in his find. Food is in short supply, and a tug of war will soon start. You have to be quick in this game. The fiddler crab has one claw much bigger than the other. It uses this claw to attract a female to come to his burrow. The brown crab is a scavenger feeding off any dead animal. Looking at these crabs, they don't look very appetizing, but to the woody-necked stork, they represent an absolute delicacy. But the most interesting creature of the mangrove swamp is without a doubt the mud skipper, a fish that spends most of its time out of the water. Special adaptations make it possible for them to absorb oxygen through the skin and gills, and they use their pectoral fins to move across the land. They live on insects and small fish. The mangrove forest in Mtunzini is one of the very few mangrove forests that we still have in South Africa and should be preserved at all costs. Mtunzini was declared a conservancy in 1995, but unfortunately it looks like they are now fighting a losing battle. The decision to allow mining is bound to have a devastating effect on the natural resources of this highly sensitive area. Let's hope that in the long run, Mtunzini will survive this terrible onslaught and find a way to ensure that its natural treasures will continue to enthrall future lovers of nature.